The bartender looked right through her. Vivian Prescott stood at the country club bar with a $20 bill extended, waiting. The young woman behind the counter smiled past her shoulder at two women in their 30s, took their order, made their drinks, handed them their glasses. Vivian's hand stayed in the air. Invisible. "Excuse me." She said it louder the second time. "I would like a glass of white wine, please." The bartender glanced at her with mild surprise, as though a piece of furniture had spoken. "Oh, sorry. Did not see you there. What can I get you?" "White wine. Whatever you have open." The glass arrived without ceremony. Vivian took it and turned toward the banquet hall where her 35-year high school reunion was already in full swing. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over clusters of people she had once known. Former cheerleaders, now grandmothers. Former athletes, now soft around the middle. Everyone laughing too loud, performing versions of themselves they thought others wanted to see. She recognized almost no one. Or rather, no one recognized her. A woman brushed past without apology. A man whose name tag read Brad Weston looked at her, looked through her, continued his conversation. Vivian clutched her wine glass and felt the familiar weight of disappearing settle into her bones. This was a mistake. She should not have come. Across the room, she saw him. Donald. Her ex-husband of 3 years now, standing with his new wife Brittany. 34 years old, blonde highlights, dental hygienist smile. Everything Vivian used to be and could never be again. Donald's hand rested on the small of Brittany's back with an ease he had not shown Vivian in the last decade of their marriage. He saw her looking. For one moment their eyes met across the banquet hall. Then Donald leaned down to whisper something in Brittany's ear. They both laughed. Vivian's chest went tight. Her hand trembled around the wine glass stem. She reached for her phone, ready to order a car, ready to disappear into the night and pretend this evening had never happened. The room went quiet. Not silent. But the volume dropped, conversations dying mid-sentence, heads turning toward the entrance. Vivian looked up. A man stood in the doorway. Tall. Silver-haired. Wearing a suit that cost more than her monthly salary. He carried himself like someone who had forgotten how to be uncertain, shoulders back, gaze steady, completely at ease with every eye in the room fixed upon him. Vivian's wine glass nearly slipped from her fingers. Graham Aldrich. The boy who had delivered newspapers to her mother's house. The boy who had worked weekends at the hardware store to save for college. The boy who had asked her to prom and been told no because he was not good enough, not successful enough, not the kind of man a Harmon girl married. That boy was now the founder and CEO of Aldrich Maritime Holdings. His face had been on the cover of Fortune magazine. His name appeared regularly in the business section of newspapers she skimmed without reading. 34 years. 34 years since she had watched him board a bus out of town with $80 in his pocket and hurt in his eyes. His gaze swept across the room. Past Brad Weston. Past the former cheerleaders. Past Donald and Brittany. And stopped on Vivian. The corner of his mouth lifted. Not a polite smile. Something specific. Something that said he had found exactly what he came looking for. He walked toward her. Welcome back to another powerful story, my beloved listeners. Kindly tell where you're watching from and what time it is where you're at. If you're new here, prepare for a story of betrayal, unexpected love, and what truly makes a family. Drop everything and listen closely. This tale of heartbreak and redemption might just change how you view love and family forever. The room watched Graham Aldrich cross the floor. Vivian could feel the attention shifting, conversations restarting in whispered speculation. She could not move, could not think, could only stand frozen as 40 feet became 30, became 20, became 10. He stopped in front of her, close enough that she caught the scent of his cologne. Something warm and expensive that bore no resemblance to the drugstore aftershave he had worn at 18. Vivian. Her name in his voice did something to her chest. Cracked something open that had been sealed for decades. Graham. I did not know you were coming. I was not planning to. His eyes moved over her face slowly, carefully, like he was memorizing her all over again. Then I saw your name on the guest list. Her stomach flipped. He had checked the guest list. For her. You look incredible. The laugh escaped before she could stop it. Sharp. Disbelieving. I look 52. You look like Vivian. She did not know what to say to that. Did not know how to process the way he was looking at her, as though she were not invisible at all. As though she were the only solid thing in a room full of ghosts. His hand extended. Palm up. Waiting. Dance with me. It was not a question. It was not even really a request. It was a statement of intent from a man who had learned how to get what he wanted. Vivian glanced at the dance floor. 3 couples swaying to a slow song from the 80s. Behind her, she could feel Donald watching. Could feel the weight of every pair of eyes that had looked past her all evening now fixed upon this moment. Graham. I do not think. You said no once. His voice dropped lower. I was 21. Asking permission because I did not know any better. He stepped closer. I am 52 now. I have built companies. Negotiated billion-dollar deals. But standing here, asking you to dance, I am more nervous than I have ever been in a boardroom. Her hand moved before her mind could stop it. Her fingers touched his palm. His hand closed around hers, warm and steady. He led her to the floor. The song was something by Whitney Houston. Vivian could not focus on the melody. Could only feel Graham's hand settling on the small of her back, spreading wide, pulling her closer than any reunion dance required. Close enough to feel his heartbeat against her chest. Relax. He murmured the word against her ear. Everyone is staring. Let them. She tried to find the rhythm. Failed. Her body felt disconnected from her mind, too aware of his warmth, his nearness, the impossible fact of him here after all these years. Why are you doing this? Dancing with you. Acting like. She struggled for the right words. Acting like I am someone. His hand pressed firmer against her back. Possessive. Grounding. You are someone, Vivian. You always were. I am nobody. I am divorced. 52. I work as an office manager at a medical practice. I drive a Honda with a dent in the bumper I cannot afford to fix. You are the woman who rejected me in front of half our graduating class because I was not good enough for you. Her breath caught. Guilt flooded hot and immediate through her veins. Graham, I was 18. I was stupid. I did not know. And you are the woman I have compared every other woman to for 34 years. The world tilted. She stumbled. He caught her effortlessly, held her steady, never missing a step. She looked up at his face. Gray-blue eyes that had once been full of uncertain dreams were now sharp with something that looked like hunger. Like patience finally reaching its end. None of them were you. His voice was rough. Not a single one. Why? She could barely form the word. Why me? You could have anyone. Younger women. Prettier women. Women who did not laugh at you in high school. I do not want anyone. His thumb moved against her spine in slow circles. I want the woman who told me I was a dreamer with no future. Because you were right. I had no future then. So I built one. For you. In case you ever stopped running long enough to see it. Tears burned at the corners of her eyes. She blinked them back desperately. Come with me. He did not wait for permission. Just guided her off the dance floor, through the crowd of staring faces, down a hallway away from the noise. She should stop. Should pull away. Should remember all the reasons this was impossible. Her body followed his like it remembered a language her mind had forgotten. He found a small room off the main corridor. Some kind of coat check that had been closed for the evening. One dim bulb overhead. The door clicked shut behind them, and suddenly the reunion noise faded to nothing. Vivian's back touched the wall. Gentle. Deliberate. Graham stood in front of her, one hand braced beside her head, the other rising slowly to her face. His fingers traced her jaw. Her breath stopped. Do you know what I have thought about? His thumb brushed her cheekbone. Every deal I closed. Every company I built. Every success. I thought about you. About whether it would ever be enough to make you see me differently. Graham, please. His hand cupped her face, tilted it up toward his. You are even more beautiful now. I am not. I am old. Invisible. Used up. Discarded. You are real. His voice dropped to something raw and honest. You have lived. You have hurt. I can see it in your eyes. That is what I wanted to tell you when I was 21 and too stupid to find the right words. I never wanted easy Vivian. I wanted you. Her hand pressed against his chest. She meant to push him away. Instead, her fingers curled into the fabric of his shirt and held on. This is crazy. You do not know me anymore. I have known you since I was 17, Vivian Harmon. I know you bite your bottom lip when you are nervous. I know you used to read during lunch period in the library corner by the window. I know you wore your hair in braids back then and you would tuck a strand behind your ear when you were concentrating. How do you remember that? He smiled. Slow. Almost sad. Because I used to watch you and wonder what it would take to make you look at me that focused. That is. She searched for words. That is obsessive. Maybe. His thumb traced her lower lip. She shivered despite herself. But you were my first love, Vivian. My only love. And I have spent 3 decades building a life worthy of you. So when I saw your name on that guest list, divorced, single, I knew. Knew what? That I had to come back. For you. Her heart slammed against her ribs so hard she was certain he could feel it. I do not understand. Then let me make it clear. He leaned closer. His forehead nearly touched hers. I want you, Vivian. I want dinner. I want conversation. I want to know who you are now. And I want you to stop looking at me like you are not good enough. Because you are the only woman in that room I saw. But I am 52. Divorced. You said that already. His hand slid from her face to her neck. Rested there. I am 52. Never married because no one was you. We are both old enough to stop pretending we have time to waste. The door handle rattled. They both froze. Vivian. Donald's voice came through the wood. Irritated. Entitled. A voice she had listened to for 28 years. You in there. Graham's jaw tightened. His hand did not move from her neck. Your ex-husband. She nodded. Do you want to see him? No. Good. Graham raised his voice. She is busy. Silence. Then who the hell is in there with her? Someone who appreciates her. Graham's eyes never left Vivian's face. Leave. Footsteps retreated. Angry. Heavy. Vivian exhaled. He is going to make a scene. Let him. Graham stepped back, gave her space. But if you want to leave, then we leave together. I am not letting you walk back in there alone. Her mind raced. This was impossible. Insane. Graham Aldrich, the billionaire she had rejected because he had nothing, wanted her. 52-year-old her. Invisible her. The woman her own ex-husband had replaced with someone younger and prettier and more worthwhile. Why me? She whispered the question. Why now? Why not 5 years ago? 10. Why wait until I am divorced and 52 and... You were not available 5 years ago. Or 10. You were married. I checked. You checked. I have checked on you every few years. Made sure you were okay. Happy. His voice was matter of fact. Simple. When I saw you were divorced, I thought about reaching out. But then I saw the reunion announcement and I thought, maybe she is ready now. Maybe she will let me try. You checked on me. Is that okay? She did not know. It should feel invasive. Stalkerish. Instead it felt like care. Like someone had been watching out for her during all the years she had felt completely alone. I do not know what I am doing. She whispered the confession. Neither do I. He smiled. Vulnerable. Real. I have built companies from nothing. Negotiated deals that made me rich. But standing here with you, I am terrified you are going to tell me this was a mistake. It might be. Probably. His hand lifted slowly. Hesitated. She nodded. His fingers brushed her cheek. But I would rather try and fail than spend another 34 years wondering. Dinner. She heard herself say. Tomorrow night. His whole face changed. Hope breaking through certainty like light through clouds. Say yes. She should say no. Should protect herself. Should remember that fairy tales did not happen to 52-year-old divorcees who answered phones and filed insurance claims and ate frozen dinners alone in front of the television. But his hand stayed extended. Palm up. Waiting. Just like it had on the dance floor. Giving her the choice. The power. Yes. Vivian did not sleep that night. She lay in her bedroom, the one she had repainted after Donald left. Covered his preferred beige with deep teal. A small act of reclamation that had felt revolutionary at the time and now just felt like walls. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Graham's face. Felt his hand on her neck. Heard his voice saying, "I came back for you." Her phone lit up at 2 in the morning. Unknown number. I should have asked for your number 34 years ago. I am correcting that now. This is Graham. Sleep well, Vivian. Her hands shook holding the phone. She typed 3 responses. Deleted them all. Finally settled on something honest. You are assuming I am sleeping. 3 dots appeared immediately. Me neither. I keep thinking about your hand on my chest. You were going to push me away, but you did not. Heat flooded through her. 52 years old and blushing at text messages like a teenager. I should have. Why? Because this is crazy. You are Graham Aldrich. I am just. The dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Just the woman I have wanted for 34 years. Dinner is at 7. I will pick you up. Send me your address. She stared at the message. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. This was a mistake. Had to be. Men like Graham did not want women like her. Did not pursue them. Did not text them at 2 in the morning like they mattered. She sent her address anyway. Morning came too soon. Vivian called her sister Frances at 7, before she could convince herself not to. He wants to take you to dinner. Frances's voice came through skeptical. Protective. She was 55 and had survived 2 divorces of her own. The billionaire from high school. The one you dumped for Donald. I did not dump him. We were not dating. He asked me to junior prom and I said no. Same thing. Frances's coffee mug clinked against something. What is his angle? Maybe he does not have one. Baby sister, listen. Men always have angles. Especially rich men. Especially rich men who show up at reunions looking for women they knew in high school. What does he want? Midlife crisis validation. A trophy. Something pretty on his arm that makes him feel young again. Vivian's stomach dropped. I am not a trophy. I know that. Does he? The question sat heavy between them. He seemed genuine. Vivian said finally. Weakly. They always do. Frances sighed. Look, I am not saying do not go. I am saying protect yourself. Donald already broke you once. Do not let some fantasy do it again. After they hung up, Vivian stood in her closet for 20 minutes. Everything looked wrong. Too tight. Too loose. Too young. Too old. Too desperate. Too invisible. She settled on a burgundy wrap dress. Simple. Classic. The kind of thing that could pass for confident even when she felt like she was falling apart. Graham arrived at 6:55. Vivian watched from her window as a black sedan pulled up. He got out wearing jeans, a white button-down shirt, a leather jacket. Casual, but the kind of casual that cost money. He walked up her driveway like he belonged there. She opened the door before he knocked. I. His smile started slow. Reached his eyes. You look beautiful. You are early. I was parked around the corner at 6:30. Did not want to seem too eager. He said it easily. No shame. She laughed. Actually laughed. The knot in her chest loosened slightly. Come in. I just need to grab my purse. He followed her inside. She felt his gaze tracking her movements. Not predatory. Curious. Like he was trying to learn her. This is nice. He said it, looking around her small living room. Teal walls. Thrifted furniture she had repainted. Plants on every surface because they made the space feel alive. It feels like you. You do not know me well enough to know what feels like me. I am working on changing that. He stopped in front of her bookshelf. Ran a finger along the spines. Toni Morrison. Alice Walker. Romance novels with cracked spines from rereading. You always loved books. How do you remember that? He turned. I remember everything about you, Vivian. You used to read during lunch. Library corner by the window. You wore your hair different back then. You would bite your lip when you were concentrating. I used to watch you and wonder what it would take to make you look at me that focused. Her breath caught. That sounds intense. I know. He moved closer. I have had 34 years to think about you. That tends to breed intensity. Her pulse kicked up. She should be frightened. Should find this overwhelming. Instead, something in her chest loosened. Graham. I need to know something. Anything. Why now? Why not 5 years ago? 10. Why wait until I am divorced and 52 and... You were not available 5 years ago. Or 10. You were married. I checked. She stared at him. Checked. I have kept track of you every few years. Made sure you were okay. Happy. When I saw you were divorced, I thought about reaching out. But then I saw the reunion and I thought, she might be ready now. To see me. To let me try. Her throat went tight. You checked on me. Is that okay? She did not know. It should feel invasive. Instead, it felt like care. Like someone had been watching out for her when she had felt completely alone. I do not know what I am doing. She whispered. Neither do I. He smiled. Vulnerable. Real. I have built empires from nothing. Negotiated billion-dollar deals. But standing here with you, I am terrified you are going to say this was a mistake. It might be. Probably. His hand lifted. Hesitated. She nodded. His fingers brushed her cheek. But I would rather try and fail than spend another 34 years wondering. He took her to a small Italian restaurant 40 minutes outside of town. Not flashy. Family-owned. Red-checked tablecloths and candles in wine bottles. A place where no one would recognize either of them. I thought you would take me somewhere expensive, Vivian said as they sat. I thought about it. Graham unfolded his napkin. But I wanted you relaxed. Not performing. This place has the best carbonara in 3 states. The owner's grandmother makes the pasta every morning. And nobody here cares who I am. The waiter brought water and bread with olive oil. Vivian realized she was starving. She had not eaten all day. Nerves. Tell me about your life. Graham said. The real version. Not the reunion version. It is not very interesting. Let me decide that. So she told him. About the marriage that had dissolved slowly like sugar in cold water. How Donald had stopped seeing her years before he left. How she had gained weight and he had stopped touching her and she had stopped trying. How the divorce had felt like failure and relief tangled together. How she had rebuilt herself piece by piece. New paint on the walls. New furniture. New routines that belonged only to her. How she still felt invisible most days. How she was not sure what she wanted anymore except to feel sane. Graham listened. Did not interrupt. Did not offer solutions. Just listened with his full attention like her words mattered. When she finished, he was quiet for a moment. He was an idiot. He was not. He was. Graham's voice was firm. Any man who stops seeing you is an idiot. You are. He stopped. Searched for words. You are the kind of woman who gets more beautiful the longer you know her. Donald wanted surface. Easy. You are not easy, Vivian. You are deep water. That takes someone willing to dive. She could not speak. Her throat was too full. Now my turn. Graham said. Fair is fair. He told her about the company he had built. Aldrich Maritime Holdings. Started in a rented office with one desk and a phone he could barely afford to keep connected. How he had worked 18-hour days for years. How it had almost failed 3 times. How success had come sudden and overwhelming and lonely. How he had dated but never seriously because nobody ever felt right. How he had almost gotten married once. A woman named Renata who understood his work but never understood him. On the day I was supposed to propose, I realized I was settling. He said it quietly. Just like you settled for Donald. I could not do it. Could not ask her to marry me when I was still in love with you. Vivian's fork clattered against her plate. Graham. You cannot say things like that. Why not? Because it is too much. Too fast. We do not know each other. I know you bite your lip when you are nervous. You are doing it right now. He smiled. I know you used to want to be a writer, but you chose practical because someone told you writers starve. I know you love your sister even though she drives you crazy. I know you have a daughter named Nadine who lives in Seattle and calls you every Sunday. I know you are scared right now because you think I am too good to be true. And I know you are already planning how to protect yourself when I leave. Her eyes stung. How do you know all that? Some I remember. Some I found out. Some I am guessing. He reached across the table. His hand covered hers. And I am not leaving Vivian. Not unless you tell me to. You do not owe me anything. I rejected you. I was cruel. You were 18. Scared. Doing what you thought was safe. His thumb traced circles on her wrist. I am not holding grudges. I am holding hope. After dinner, he drove her home. They sat in his car in front of her house, neither of them ready for the evening to end. I do not want this to be over. She said it before she could stop herself. It does not have to be. He turned to look at her. I have a place. About an hour from here. A cabin by the lake. We could talk more. If you want. No pressure. I can take you home if you prefer. I want to see it. He looked at her. Really looked. You are sure? No. She was not. But she nodded anyway. The cabin was not a cabin. It was a glass and wood architectural masterpiece built into the hillside overlooking a private lake. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Modern furniture that looked sculpted. A fireplace large enough to stand in. Everything clean lines and expensive taste. Vivian stood in the entryway, suddenly aware of how out of place she was. You said nothing fancy. This is nothing fancy. Graham shrugged off his jacket. Hung it on a hook. My main residence is in the city. This is where I come when I need quiet. Your quiet place costs more than my house. Probably. He moved into the kitchen. Open concept. Stone counters. Want wine. Coffee. Water. Wine. Please. She walked to the windows while he opened a bottle. The lake spread out below them. Dark except for scattered lights from distant houses. Stars thick overhead. The kind of view that made you feel small and significant at the same time. Graham handed her a glass. Red. Rich. Probably cost more than her electric bill. It is beautiful, she said. It is. But he was not looking at the view. He was looking at her. Heat crept up her neck. Graham. I am not going to kiss you. He said it gently. Unless you ask me to. I just wanted you to know that. Her heart hammered. Okay. I did not bring you here for that. I brought you here because I wanted more time with you. And because my hotel room felt too transactional. Like I was trying to get something. This felt more honest. She sipped the wine. Let it warm her throat. You are very good at saying the right things. I am saying true things. He moved to the fireplace. Pressed something. Gas flames jumped to life. There is a difference. Vivian sat on the couch. Leather. Soft. She settled into the corner and Graham sat beside her. Close but not touching. Close enough to feel his warmth. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Anything." "That woman. Renata. The one you almost married. What happened after?" Graham was quiet for a moment. "She was angry. Said I had wasted her time. She was not wrong. I had." He turned his glass in his hands. "She asked me who it was. The woman I was comparing her to. I told her the truth. A girl from high school who had rejected me. She laughed. Said I was pathetic. Chasing a ghost. Maybe she was right. Maybe." He looked at her. "Except you are not a ghost. You are here. Real. More than I imagined. What if I disappoint you? What if the real me is not what you built up in your head? Then I will love the real you." He said it simply, like it was inevitable. "Vivian, I am not in love with an idea. I am in love with you. The you who just told me about your messy divorce. The you who worries about disappointing me. The you who is scared but came anyway. That is who I want." She could not breathe. "You cannot love me. You do not know me. I am working on it." His hand moved to her face, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "But I have got a pretty good head start." Her phone buzzed. She jumped and pulled it from her purse. "Francis. You still alive? If he is a serial killer, text the word pineapple." Vivian laughed. Could not help it. The tension broke. "Your sister?" Graham asked. "She thinks you might murder me. Fair concern. Tell her you are safe." Vivian typed back. "Still alive. Not a serial killer. I will call you tomorrow." Francis responded immediately. "You are staying the night?" "No. Just talking. MHM. Use protection." Vivian shoved her phone away. Face burning. "She thinks we are." "You know what she thinks." Graham's smile was amused. "For the record, I would like that very much. But not tonight. Tonight I just want to know you." They talked until 3 in the morning. Graham told her about his parents. Father who had worked factory jobs until his back gave out. Mother who had cleaned houses 6 days a week until arthritis made it impossible. How they had both died within a year of each other, right after his company went public. How he had bought them a house they never got to live in. How success tasted like ash when you had nobody to share it with. Vivian told him about her mother. The way she had pushed practical over passion. How Vivian had buried her dream of being a writer in a drawer and chosen office work because it was steady. How she sometimes wondered who she might have been if she had been braver. "You can still write," Graham said. "I am 52. Toni Morrison published her first novel at 39. You have got time. It is different." "Why?" She did not have an answer. Somewhere around 4 in the morning she fell asleep on his couch. Head on a throw pillow. Wine glass empty on the coffee table. She woke to sunlight and the smell of coffee. Graham sat in a chair across from her. Laptop open. Reading glasses perched on his nose. He looked up when she stirred. Morning. Vivian sat up. Her dress was wrinkled. Her hair a disaster. "I fell asleep." "You did. I covered you with a blanket around 5. You looked peaceful." He closed the laptop. "Coffee, please." He brought her a mug. Black. The way she liked it. She did not remember telling him that. "How did you know?" "You mentioned it last night. Between the story about your daughter's graduation and the one about your mother's Sunday dinners." He had been paying attention. Really paying attention. "I should go home," she said. "Change. Work tomorrow. I will drive you." He stood. "But first. Breakfast. I make excellent French toast." Over the next 3 weeks Graham became part of her routine. He texted every morning. "Good morning, beautiful." Never anything more complicated. Just that. A reminder that someone was thinking of her before the day began. He sent flowers to her office. Not roses. Sunflowers. Because she had mentioned once that she liked how happy they looked. He showed up at her house on Wednesdays with takeout and a willingness to watch her comfort show. A British baking competition she had seen 12 times. He met her for lunch on Thursdays. Always at small places. Always asking about her day like it mattered. He did not push. Did not pressure. Just showed up. Consistently. Like he meant it. Vivian felt herself softening. Opening. Wanting. But doubt crept in during quiet moments. Late at night when she could not sleep. In the shower when she caught sight of her body and saw everything that age had changed. Why her? What did he really want? When would he realize she was not worth the effort? Her co-worker Pearl noticed at lunch one day. "You are glowing," Pearl said. Fork halfway to her mouth. Who is he? It is not. It is complicated. Complicated means good. So who is he? Vivian tried to explain. Graham. The reunion. The 34 years. The texts and flowers and French toast. How he made her feel seen. Pearl listened. Then shook her head. Girl. You know this is crazy, right? What? A billionaire showing up out of nowhere. Saying all the right things. Acting interested in a 52-year-old divorcee. Pearl's voice was not mean. Just careful. What is his game? Maybe he does not have one. They always have one. Pearl leaned forward. I am not saying do not enjoy it. But protect yourself. Men like that. They are used to getting what they want. And when they are done they move on. The words sat heavy in Vivian's chest for days. On a Friday night Graham invited her to a charity gala. I have to go, he said over the phone. I am one of the major donors. But I do not want to go alone. Come with me. Graham. That is not my world. It is not mine either. I just write the checks. His voice softened. I want you there. Please. She said yes. Then immediately regretted it. A gala meant gowns. Meant people who belonged in Graham's tax bracket. Meant being seen as what? His date. His charity case. The woman who was not good enough 34 years ago and still was not. Francis came over to help her get ready. They stood in front of the mirror while Francis zipped up a borrowed black gown. You are spiraling. Francis said. I can see it. I do not belong there. Maybe not. But he invited you anyway. Francis stepped back. Assessed. You look beautiful. But Vivian. Baby sister. Be careful. You keep saying that. Because when this ends. And it probably will. I do not want to put you back together again. You think it will end. Francis's face softened. I think men like him do not end up with women like us. I think he is having fun. And I think you are falling too hard too fast. Vivian looked in the mirror. The dress fit well. Made her look elegant. Almost like she belonged. But Francis's words echoed in her head. Slumming it. When Graham picked her up in a tuxedo that made him look like he had stepped off a magazine cover, she could not shake the doubt. You look stunning, he said. I look old. You look like the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. He offered his arm. Ready. No. She was not. She took his arm anyway. The gala was exactly what she had feared. Women in designer gowns. Men in custom tuxedos. Champagne in crystal flutes. Conversations about summer homes and charity boards and investments she did not understand. Vivian felt like an imposter. Every step. Every smile. Every moment. Graham kept his hand on her back. Introduced her to everyone. This is Vivian Prescott. The woman I told you about. He had talked about her. To these people. A woman in emerald green approached. Early 40s. Model thin. Diamond necklace that probably cost more than Vivian's house. Graham. She air-kissed both his cheeks. It has been forever. Where have you been hiding? Not hiding. Just selective about my time. His hand squeezed Vivian's waist. Constance. This is Vivian. Constance Davenport Riggs. Vivian recognized the name. They had gone to high school together. Constance had been prom queen. Had married money. Had ascended to exactly the world Vivian had never belonged in. Constance's eyes swept over Vivian. Cataloging. Assessing. Finding her lacking. Lovely to meet you. Her smile did not reach her eyes. How do you two know each other? High school. Graham said. Oh. Constance's smile sharpened. How nostalgic. You always did have a thing for reclamation projects, Graham. Vivian's stomach dropped. Reclamation project. Constance. Graham's voice went cold. That is enough. I am just saying. You have dated supermodels. CEOs. What is the appeal of? She gestured vaguely at Vivian. Yes. The room tilted. Heat flooded Vivian's face. Shame thick and choking. Graham's jaw tightened. The appeal is that Vivian is real. She is kind. She is intelligent. She does not need to tear down other women to feel important. You should try it sometime. Constance's face froze. I was just... Goodbye, Constance. He guided Vivian away, his hand firm on her back. I am sorry. He murmured. She is right. She is not. She is. Vivian's voice came out small. She is right. I am a reclamation project. The high school sweetheart you are trying to fix. I do not belong here, Graham. Look at these people. Look at me. I am looking at you. You are the only person here I want to see. But why? Her voice cracked. I am not special. I am not young or successful or... You are you. He stopped. Turned her to face him. Middle of the room. People watching. He cupped her face. You are the woman who told me I could be more. Who believed in me when I had nothing. You are the woman I have loved for 34 years. You are the woman I want to wake up next to and fall asleep with and build a life with. So stop looking for reasons why I should not want you. And just let me want you. Around them conversations stopped. The room watched. Graham kissed her. Soft. Gentle. Public. Acclaiming. When he pulled back, Vivian's eyes were wet. Take me home. She whispered. Which home? Yours. Graham's lake house was dark when they arrived. He unlocked the door. Lights came on automatically. Soft. Ambient. The lake spread out through the windows. Stars thick overhead. Vivian stood in the entryway. Heart pounding. Hands shaking. Do you want a drink? No. Do you want to talk? No. He moved closer. Slow. Giving her time to pull away. What do you want, Vivian? I want to believe this is real. Her voice broke. I want to believe you see me. But I keep hearing Constance. Reclamation project. And I keep thinking, what if she is right? What if I am just some midlife crisis validation for you? What if... Stop. He cupped her face. Listen to me. You are not a project. You are not a crisis. You are the woman I have wanted since I was 17 years old. And if you do not believe that yet, I will spend every day proving it until you do. Tears spilled over. She could not stop them. I am scared. Of what? Of this ending. Of you realizing I am not worth it. Of getting hurt again. I am scared too. His thumb wiped her tears. I am terrified you will wake up one day and decide I am too much. Too intense. Too invested. That I will lose you again. She kissed him. Not gentle. Hungry. Desperate. 34 years of wondering poured into one moment. His hands found the zipper at her back. The borrowed gown pooled at her feet. She stood in front of him. Exposed. Vulnerable. Every flaw visible. He looked at her like she was art. You are beautiful. I am 52. You are perfect. What happened next was tender and fierce and overwhelming. He touched her like he was memorizing her. She clung to him like he might disappear. They moved together like a conversation. Question and answer. Give and take. When it was over, Vivian lay in his arms. Skin damp. Heart racing. Feeling more seen than she had felt in years. Graham murmured against her hair. Do not leave. I am here. I mean permanently. Move in with me. Let me take care of you. She went rigid. What? Move in. We are not children. We do not need to waste time dating for years. I want you here. Every morning. Every night. Panic flooded, cold and immediate. Graham. That is too fast. Why? Because we have known each other 3 weeks. We have known each other 34 years. We have not. We knew each other in high school. This is different. We are different people now. He propped himself on one elbow. Looked down at her. Are you having second thoughts? I am having realistic thoughts. She sat up. Pulled the sheet around herself. You are talking about moving in together. This just happened. I have a house. A job. A life. I cannot just. Why not? Because people do not do that. I am not people. And neither are you. His hand found her shoulder. Vivian, I have spent 34 years waiting. I do not want to wait anymore. I want you here. With me. Building a life together. Her chest felt too tight. She could not breathe. You are asking me to give up everything. I am asking you to choose me. It is not that simple. It is that simple. His voice turned frustrated. You are making it complicated because you are scared. Of course I am scared. She stood. Wrapped the sheet around herself. You are asking me to append my entire life for a man I have known 3 weeks. What happens when this ends? When you get bored. When you realize I am not what you built up in your head. That is not going to happen. You do not know that. Yes, I do. He stood too. I know because I have loved you for 34 years. I know because I have dated other women and none of them were you. I know because I am 52 years old and I am done playing games. This is real, Vivian. Stop running from it. She shook her head. Tears streaming. I need to go home. Do not do this. I need space. I need to think. Vivian, please. Her voice cracked. Just take me home. Graham drove her home in silence. The tension in the car felt suffocating. His jaw was tight. Her hands twisted in her lap. When he pulled up to her house, she reached for the door handle. Vivian. His voice stopped her. Are you ending this? I do not know. Do not run because you are scared. I am not running. I am protecting myself. From what? From being happy. From being loved. He turned to face her. I told you I would wait until you were ready. But I need to know. Will you ever be ready? Or are you so convinced you are not good enough that you will sabotage this before it has a chance? The words hit like a slap. That is not fair. It is true. His voice softened. Pleading. You are looking for reasons to leave. You are waiting for me to prove Constance right. But I cannot fight your fear for you. You have to decide you are worth this. She opened the door. Got out. Vivian. She looked back. I love you. I have loved you since I was 17. And I will be here when you are ready to believe that. She went inside. Closed the door. Slid down against it. And cried. Frances showed up the next morning with coffee and donuts. I saw Graham's car leave at 5. She sat on the couch. You want to talk? He asked me to move in with him. After 3 weeks. After 34 years. That is what he said. Frances was quiet for a moment. What did you say? I panicked. I ran. I told him I needed space and I do not know what I am doing. Vivian's voice broke. He says he loves me. He says he has waited 34 years. He says I am enough. But Francis, what if I am not? What if I move in and he realizes I am just me? Boring. Middle-aged. Nothing special. Francis set down her coffee. Baby sister, let me tell you something. You are right to be careful. Men like Graham. They are used to getting what they want. And when the shiny wears off they move on. She paused. But here is the thing. You have been invisible for 3 years. You have felt worthless since Donald left. And now there is a man who sees you, who wants you, who is fighting for you. Maybe he will leave. Maybe he will not. But if you push him away because you are too scared to find out, you will spend the rest of your life wondering what if. So what do? You figure out what you want. Not what is safe. Not what is practical. What do you actually want? Vivian did not answer. Because she knew. She wanted Graham. She wanted the way he looked at her. The way he made her feel. The way he fought for her. But wanting and having were different things. For 2 weeks Vivian avoided Graham's calls. She sent short texts. I am okay. I just need time. He did not push. Did not show up at her house. Gave her the space she had asked for. But he sent one text every morning. I am still here. Waiting. Work became her refuge. She threw herself into filing and scheduling and all the mindless tasks that required nothing of her heart. Stayed late. Avoided thinking about the way Graham had held her. The way he had said I love you. Pearl noticed during lunch on the 2nd week. You look terrible. Pearl said bluntly. Thanks. I am serious. You are not sleeping. You are not eating. What happened with the billionaire? I ended it. Why? Because it was too much. Too fast. Too everything. Pearl leaned back. Studied her. You are in love with him. I barely know him. That is not what I asked. Vivian's throat went tight. It does not matter. Of course it matters. Pearl's voice softened. Girl, I told you to be careful. But I did not tell you to throw away something real because you are scared. Is he good to you? Yes. Does he treat you right? Yes. Does he make you happy? Vivian's eyes burned. He makes me feel like I matter. Then why are you here eating sad salad with me instead of there with him? Because what if it does not last? What if it does? Pearl interrupted. What if you push him away and spend the next 34 years regretting it again? The words landed heavy. That night Vivian stood in the doorway of her attic. She had not been up here in years. Not since before the divorce. It was full of boxes she had been meaning to sort through. Memories she had been avoiding. She climbed the ladder and began opening boxes by the thin light of a single bulb. Old photographs. High school yearbooks. Clothes she would never fit into again. Trinkets from a life that felt like it had belonged to someone else. In the 3rd box she found a small package wrapped in faded paper. Something she had never opened. Something she had forgotten existed. Her mother's handwriting on the outside. For Vivian. From that boy. Her heart stopped. She unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a letter. Handwritten. The paper yellowed with age. Dated June 1989. Vivian. By the time you read this I will be gone. My bus leaves tomorrow. I do not know if I will ever come back. I wanted to tell you in person but you would not see me. And I understand. I am not what your family wants for you. I am not what anyone expects. I am just the boy who delivers newspapers and dreams too big and loves you more than I have words to explain. But I want you to know something. I am going to become someone. I do not know how yet. I do not know how long it will take. But I am going to build a life that matters. A life that might make you see me differently. And if you ever change your mind, if you ever want to find me, I will be there. Waiting. However long it takes. Yours, Graham. Vivian's hands shook so violently the letter nearly fell from her grip. Her mother had kept this. Hidden it. Never told her. 34 years. He had written her this letter 34 years ago. Had promised to wait. Had kept that promise. And she had never known. Her mother had decided for her. Had decided that the boy with nothing was not worth her daughter's consideration. Had buried this letter in a box and let Graham believe she had rejected him completely. He had left town thinking she did not care. Thinking she had received his words and thrown them away. He had built an empire carrying that wound. And now he was waiting again. Texting her every morning. I am still here. Not knowing that she had never received his letter at all. Vivian sat on the dusty attic floor, surrounded by boxes of a life she had not chosen, holding the words of a boy who had loved her enough to wait 3 decades, and finally understood what she had almost thrown away. Vivian sat on the dusty attic floor until her legs went numb. The letter lay in her lap. Graham's handwriting, faded but legible. Words he had written at 21, believing she would read them. Believing she would know how he felt, however long it takes. He had kept that promise. 34 years of waiting. 34 years of building. 34 years of checking on her from a distance, making sure she was okay, hoping she might one day be ready. And she had almost thrown it all away because she could not believe she was worth it. Her mother had made that choice for her once. Had decided that the boy with nothing deserved nothing. Had hidden his heart in a box and let him leave town carrying a wound that never healed. Vivian would not let fear make that choice for her again. She climbed down from the attic, washed her face, picked up her phone. 3:47 in the morning. Graham's last text glowed on the screen from 12 hours ago. I am still here. Waiting. She started to type. Stopped. Started again. What could she possibly say? I found a letter my mother hid from me for 34 years. I am sorry I did not know. I am sorry I made you wait. I am sorry I almost ran away from the only person who ever really saw me. The words felt too small. Too late. She needed to see him. Needed to show him the letter. Needed to explain. But it was almost 4 in the morning. And she had pushed him away so hard. What if he had finally given up? What if her silence had been the last rejection he could bear? Her phone buzzed. Graham. I know it is late. But I need to tell you something. Can I call? Her hands trembled as she typed back. Yes. The phone rang 3 seconds later. Vivian. His voice sounded rough. Tired. Like he had not been sleeping either. I found something, she said. Something I need to show you. Something that changes everything. What do you mean? Can you come here? I know it is late, but I am already in my car. What? I could not sleep. I was driving, thinking about whether I should come to you or keep giving you space. I am about 10 minutes away. She let out a breath she had not known she was holding. Please. He made it in 7 minutes. Vivian opened the door before he knocked. He stood on her porch in jeans and a wrinkled shirt, hair uncombed, dark circles under his eyes. He looked like a man who had been carrying something too heavy for too long. She held out the letter. My mother kept this from me. For 34 years. I found it tonight in the attic. I never knew Graham. I never knew you wrote to me. I never knew you. He took the letter. Read it slowly. His face changed as the words sank in. Shock first. Then something that looked like grief. She hid this. Yes. You never read it. Not until tonight. I thought. His voice cracked. I thought you ignored it. I thought you received my letter and threw it away. I waited by the mailbox for weeks hoping you would write back. When you did not, I thought I really was nothing to you. Vivian's eyes burned. I did not know. I swear I did not know. 34 years. He looked up at her. I left town believing you had rejected me completely. Believing I was not worth a single word in response. I built my entire company carrying that. Trying to become someone you could not ignore. Graham, there were years I hated you. He said it quietly, not angry, just honest. Years I tried to forget you, tried to convince myself you were not worth the pain. But I never could. Because underneath the hurt I always believed. I always hoped that maybe one day. He stopped, could not finish. Vivian stepped forward, took his face in her hands, made him look at her. I am so sorry for what my mother did, for what I did at 18, for pushing you away these past 2 weeks, for every moment I made you doubt that you matter to me. You matter. You have always mattered. I was just too scared and too blind to see it. His hands came up to cover hers. Vivian, I love you. She said it clearly, without hesitation. I love you and I am done running. I am done letting fear make my choices. I am done believing I am not enough. His forehead dropped to hers. Say it again. I love you. He kissed her. Soft at first, then deeper. 34 years of waiting and wondering and hoping poured into one moment. When they finally pulled apart, they were both crying. I thought I had lost you, he whispered. I thought I had pushed too hard, asked for too much. You asked for what you deserved. I was the one who could not see it. And now. She took a breath. Now I want to try. For real. At my pace. But for real. He pulled her close. Held her like she might disappear. Whatever you need. As long as I know you are mine and I am yours. We figure out the rest together. They talked until dawn. Sat on her couch wrapped in blankets and 34 years of things left unsaid. Graham told her about the years after he left. The bus ride to Chicago with $80 and a broken heart. The cheap apartment he shared with 4 other men. The night shifts and weekend jobs and endless hustle of a young man trying to prove he was worth something. He told her about the moment his company took off. The first million. The first 10 million. The hollow feeling of success without anyone to share it with. He told her about Renata, the woman he almost married. How he had stood in a jewelry store holding a ring and realized he was settling. How he had called off the relationship that same day and spent the next week alone in his lake house trying to understand why he could not let go of a girl from 34 years ago. I think I always knew, he said, that something was not right about the way you rejected me. You were never cruel, Vivian. Distant sometimes. Careful, but not cruel. The silence after my letter. It did not match who you were. But you never came back to ask. I was too proud. Too hurt. I told myself if you wanted me you would find me. And when you did not. He shrugged. I decided to become someone you could not ignore. Someone so successful you would have to see me eventually. And then you saw my name on the reunion guest list. And then I saw your name. He smiled. Divorced. Single. And I thought, maybe now. Maybe finally. Vivian leaned into him. Felt his arm tighten around her shoulders. What would you have done if I had not come to the reunion? I would have found another way. His voice was certain. I would have kept trying until you told me to stop. Or until I ran out of years to try. That is a lot of pressure. That is love. He kissed the top of her head. The kind that does not give up. The next few months unfolded slowly. Vivian did not move in with Graham. Not right away. She needed to do this at her own pace and he understood. But they found a rhythm. He came to her town on weekends. She visited his lake house when she could. They talked every night on the phone, sometimes for hours, sometimes just long enough to say goodnight. She told her daughter Nadine everything. The reunion. Graham. The letter her grandmother had hidden. The love story that had waited 34 years to be written. Nadine flew in from Seattle to meet him. They had dinner at Vivian's house. Graham brought flowers for both of them. Made his famous French toast for breakfast the next morning. Answered Nadine's questions with honesty and patience. After he left, Nadine sat with her mother in the kitchen. He is not what I expected. Nadine said. What did you expect? I do not know. Someone slick. Someone who talks about money and success. Not someone who asks about my job and remembers my birthday and looks at you like you hung the moon. Vivian smiled. He is. A lot. He is good, Mom. Nadine took her hand. He is really good. And you deserve good. Frances came around more slowly. She showed up at Vivian's house one Saturday morning unannounced. Found Graham in the kitchen making coffee. Vivian still asleep upstairs. The two of them sat at the kitchen table in awkward silence until Frances finally spoke. I told her you would hurt her. I know. I told her men like you do not end up with women like us. I know that too. Are you going to prove me wrong? Graham set down his coffee cup. I'm going to spend every day trying. I cannot promise I will never make mistakes. I cannot promise we will never fight or struggle or have hard seasons. But I can promise I will not leave. I can promise I will show up. I can promise your sister will never have to wonder if she matters to me. Frances studied him for a long moment. She has been invisible for a long time. My baby sister. Our mother made her feel like she was never enough. Donald made her feel like she was furniture. She learned to take up as little space as possible. To ask for nothing. To expect nothing. I know. If you make her feel that way again. I will not. If you do. Frances's voice was steel. I will make your billions feel like pocket change compared to what I will cost you. Graham did not flinch. Fair enough. Frances stood. Poured herself a cup of his coffee. Took a sip. This is good coffee. Thank you. She sat back down. Tell me about this lake house. Vivian says it is ridiculous. Vivian started painting again. She had not picked up a brush since before her marriage. Had not created anything just for the joy of creating in longer than she could remember. But Graham had a room in his lake house with good light. And he had filled it with canvases and paints and everything she might need. For you, he said. No pressure. No expectations. Just space. Yours whenever you want it. The first time she painted she cried. Not from sadness. From something being released. Something that had been locked away for 30 years finally finding its way out. She painted the lake at sunset. Imperfect. Unpracticed. But hers. Graham found her staring at it an hour later. It is beautiful. It is terrible. It is yours. He stood behind her. Wrapped his arms around her waist. That makes it beautiful. She painted more after that. Slowly at first. Then with growing confidence. She painted the view from her kitchen window. Her daughter as a child. The attic where she had found the letter. Her mother's garden from memory. She painted Graham too. His hands. His profile against the window. The way he looked at her when he thought she was not watching. I never knew you could do this. He said one evening, studying a canvas of the lake at dawn. I did not know either. Not anymore. I forgot. What made you stop? She was quiet for a moment. My mother said art was impractical. Donald said it was a waste of time. So I put away my brushes and became what they wanted. Useful. Quiet. Small. And now. Now I am learning to take up space again. He kissed her temple. Take up all the space you want. I will be here watching. 6 months after the reunion, Graham asked her again. They were sitting on the porch of his lake house. Evening light turning the water gold. A bottle of wine between them. The easy silence of two people who had learned each other's rhythms. Move in with me. Vivian looked at him. You asked me that before. I am asking again. His hand found hers. Not because I am impatient. Not because I am trying to rush you. But because I wake up every morning wishing you were here. Because this house feels empty when you leave. Because I am 52 years old and I do not want to waste another day not being with you. She was quiet for a long moment. What about my house? Keep it. Rent it. Sell it. Whatever you want. What about my job? Keep it if you want. Quit if you want. I will support whatever you choose. What about Vivian? He turned to face her. I am not asking you to give anything up. I am asking you to add something. To add me. To add this. To add a life where you wake up knowing you are loved. She looked at the lake. At the house that had terrified her the first time she saw it. At the man who had waited 34 years and was still waiting now. Patient. Steady. Certain. Yes. Yes, I will move in with you. His face broke into the widest smile she had ever seen. Really. But I have conditions. Anything. I keep my painting room. Done. I get to cook on Sundays. Done. And we get a dog. He laughed. Pulled her into his arms. Done. Whatever you want. A dog. 10 dogs. A whole farm if you want it. She kissed him. 1 dog. For now. Moving day came 6 weeks later. Francis helped pack. Nadine flew in from Seattle. Pearl from work came by with wine and boxes of tissues. This is insane, Pearl said, looking around the nearly empty house. You are moving in with a billionaire. I am moving in with Graham. Vivian corrected. The billionaire part is just extra. Fancy extra. Pearl shook her head. I cannot believe you are actually doing this. Neither can I. But here she was. 52 years old. Divorced. A woman who had spent decades being invisible. Packing up her life to move in with the boy she had rejected and the man who had never stopped loving her. Life was strange. Beautiful. Strange. The invitation arrived 3 weeks after she moved in. Heavy cardstock. Embossed lettering. You are cordially invited to the 36th reunion of Westbrook High School. Vivian stared at it across the breakfast table. Another reunion. Graham said, looking over her shoulder. Do you want to go? Last time changed my life. Last time I crashed it and made you dance with me in front of your ex-husband. He smiled. This time you would be going as my partner. Officially. That is what scares me. Why? Because they will see me with you and think what Constance thought. That I am not good enough. That you are settling. That this is some kind of charity project. Graham's face went serious. Do you still think that? No. Most days. But they will judge. They will whisper. They will wonder what you see in me. Let them wonder. He pulled her close. I know what I see. You know what we have. That is all that matters. Is it? Yes. But if you do not want to go, we do not go. I do not need to prove anything to people from high school. I just need you. She leaned into him. Let his steadiness anchor her. I want to go. You are sure? I am sure. I am done hiding. Done shrinking. Done pretending I do not deserve to take up space. His arms tightened around her. That is my girl. She called Francis that weekend. I am going to the reunion, Vivian said. With Graham. Officially. Good. Francis's voice held something Vivian had not heard before. Pride. It is about time. You think I should go. I think you should walk into that room with your head high and show every person who ever overlooked you exactly who you have become. Not because of Graham. Because of you. What if I fall apart? You will not. How do you know? Because I know you. Francis paused. You have survived a mother who made you feel small. A husband who made you feel invisible. A world that told you 52-year-old divorced women do not get happy endings. And you are still standing. Still fighting. Still choosing love even when it terrifies you. That is not weakness, baby sister. That is strength. Vivian's throat went tight. I love you, Franny. I love you too. Now go show those people what they missed. The night of the reunion, Vivian stood in front of the mirror in the lake house bedroom. New dress. Deep burgundy. Fitted but not trying too hard. She had lost weight since moving in with Graham. Not because she was trying. because happiness had made her lighter. Her hair was styled in soft waves. Minimal makeup. Small gold earrings Graham had given her for her birthday. She looked good. Not young. Not trying to be. Just herself. Confident. Present. Graham appeared in the doorway. Navy suit. Silver hair combed back. Devastating in the way that still caught her off guard. You are beautiful. So are you. Beautiful. He raised an eyebrow. Devastating then. Better. He offered his arm. Shall we? They arrived at the country club together. Same banquet hall. Same crystal chandeliers. Same faces from a lifetime ago. But everything felt different. Last year Vivian had arrived alone. Invisible. Ready to leave before she had even entered. This year she walked in with Graham's hand in hers. Head high. No apology in her posture. The room noticed. Conversations paused. Heads turned. Jennifer Morales from the reunion committee stared. Brad Weston stopped mid-sentence. Graham leaned close. You okay? Yes. And she meant it. They made their way to a table. People approached. Tentative. Curious. Vivian, you look amazing. Graham Aldrich, right? I heard you two were together. How long have you been dating? Vivian answered with grace. Confidence. No longer shrinking. No longer apologizing for taking up space. Then she saw Donald. He stood by the bar with Brittany. Same bleached highlights. Same tight smile. But something was different. Brittany's body language was stiff. Turned slightly away from Donald. And Donald. Donald looked tired. Worn. Like a man whose life was not going the way he had planned. He saw Vivian looking. For a long moment their eyes met. Then he started walking toward her. Vivian felt Graham's hand tighten on her waist. But he stayed silent, letting her handle it. Vivian. Donald stopped in front of her. You look different. Good different. His eyes flickered to Graham. Then back to her. Can we talk? In private. Anything you want to say you can say here. Donald glanced at Graham again. At the people watching. His jaw tightened. Fine. Things are not working out. With Brittany. She is. He shook his head. It does not matter. I have been thinking about you. About us. What we had. What we had. It was good. For a long time. Was it not? We could try again. I know you, Vivian. I know how to make you happy. No. She said it calmly. Clearly. You do not. Come on. Do not be like this. I am not being like anything. I am being honest. You knew me for 28 years, Donald. You knew my routines. My preferences. What I cooked for dinner and how I took my coffee. But you never saw me. You never asked what I dreamed about. What I was afraid of. What I wanted from life. That is not fair. It is true. She felt Graham beside her. Steady. Supporting. Not interfering. You had 3 decades to see me. To really see me. You did not. She gestured to Graham. He saw me in 30 seconds. At a reunion where I was ready to disappear. He crossed a room full of people and looked at me like I was the only person there. He is rich. That is the only difference. The difference is he makes me feel like I matter. You made me feel like furniture. I did not. You did. Every day. 4 years. And I let you because I believed that was all I deserved. But I was wrong. And I am done settling for someone who looks through me when there is a man who actually sees me. Donald's face went red. You are making a mistake. No. Marrying you was the mistake. Yes. She looked at Graham. At herself. At the woman she had become. This is the correction. Donald stared at her. Opened his mouth. Closed it. Had nothing left to say. He turned and walked away. The room had gone quiet around them. Everyone watching. Then someone started clapping. Pearl. She had come to the reunion after all. Said she would not miss this for the world. Others joined in. A ripple of applause spreading through the ballroom. Vivian felt tears prick her eyes, but she did not cry. Just stood there. Present. Visible. Whole. Graham pulled her close. Kissed her temple. That is my girl. Constance appeared 10 minutes later. Same superior smile. Same calculating eyes. Emerald dress that probably cost more than Vivian's first car. Vivian. Graham. Still together, I see. Still together. Graham's voice was cool. How charming. Constance's gaze swept over Vivian. You clean up better than I expected. Though I suppose with his money anyone can look presentable. Last year those words would have broken her. Would have sent her spiraling into shame and self-doubt. This year Vivian smiled. You know, Constance, I used to be terrified of women like you. Women who could look at someone and make them feel worthless with a single glance. I spent decades believing the opinions of people like you mattered. That your approval meant something. Constance's smile faltered. But I have learned something this year. Vivian continued. Your cruelty is not about me. It never was. It is about you. About whatever emptiness you are trying to fill by making others feel small. And I am done letting you have that power. Excuse me. I do not need your approval. I never did. I do not need you to see me as worthy. I know my worth now. And it has nothing to do with what you think. Constance stared. Her perfect composure cracking. I know what you were doing. And I am walking away. Not because you hurt me, but because you are not worth my time. Vivian turned. Took Graham's arm. Left Constance standing alone in her emerald dress with nothing to say. On the dance floor later Graham held her close. How does it feel? He asked. What? Standing up for yourself. Taking up space. Being seen. Vivian considered the question. Terrifying. Wonderful. Like I am finally becoming the person I was supposed to be all along. You were always that person. He kissed her forehead. You just forgot for a while. She rested her head on his chest. Let the music wash over them. Thank you. She said quietly. For what? For waiting. For seeing me. For not giving up even when I gave you every reason to. I could not give up. His arms tightened around her. You were the only thing worth waiting for. 3 months later Graham took her to dinner at the Italian restaurant where they had their first date. Same red-checked tablecloths. Same candles in wine bottles. Same feeling of being somewhere nobody knew them and nothing was expected. But Vivian was different now. No longer terrified. No longer waiting for the other shoe to drop. Just happy. Settled. Over dessert Graham reached across the table and took her hand. I need to ask you something. Okay. I have been carrying this around for 3 months. Waiting for the right moment. He reached into his jacket pocket. Pulled out a small velvet box. Vivian's heart stopped. I know we said we would take things slow. And I meant it. But I am 53 years old, Vivian. And I have spent 35 years waiting for you. So I am done waiting. He opened the box. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant. A single diamond that caught the candlelight. I am not asking you to change your name. Or give up anything you have built. I am asking you to let me spend the rest of my life beside you. To wake up with you every morning and fall asleep with you every night. To be there when things are hard and celebrate when things are good. To build something together that neither of us could build alone. Graham. Vivian Prescott. Will you marry me? She looked at the ring. At his face. At the boy who had delivered newspapers and loved her from afar. At the man who had built an empire and never stopped carrying her in his heart. Yes. His whole face transformed. Yes. Yes, I will marry you. Yes, I want to build a life with you. Yes, I am done being scared. He slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. How did you know my size? I had your sister check. Frances knew about this. She helped me pick out the ring. Said if I was going to marry her baby sister, I had better do it right. Vivian laughed, tears streaming down her face. I cannot believe you asked Frances. I cannot believe she said yes. He grinned. I think she is starting to like me. The wedding was small. Garden ceremony at the lake house. Just family and close friends. Frances stood as witness. Nadine gave a speech that made everyone cry. Pearl came with her husband. Brought champagne and tissues and a card that said I knew he was one of the good ones. Even the three-legged dog they had adopted 2 months ago, a rescue mutt named Chester, sat at the end of the aisle with a bow tie around his collar. Vivian wore a simple ivory dress. Flowers in her hair. No veil. Nothing fancy. Just herself. Graham cried when he saw her walking toward him. They wrote their own vows. Graham went first. Vivian. I fell in love with you when I was 17 years old. When I was just a boy with nothing but dreams and a newspaper route. You were the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, and I knew even then, that I would spend my whole life trying to be worthy of you. I built companies, made money, achieved things the world calls success. But none of it meant anything until you walked back into my life. Until you looked at me and finally, let me love you. I cannot promise you perfection. I cannot promise there will not be hard days. But I can promise you this. I will show up. Every day. For the rest of my life. I will see you. Really see you. The way you deserve to be seen. And I will never stop being grateful that you gave me a second chance. Then it was Vivian's turn. Graham. I spent 30 years believing I was invisible. Believing I was not enough. Believing that women like me did not get happy endings. And then you walked across a crowded room and looked at me like I was the only person there. You did not just love me. You taught me to love myself. You showed me that I was worth seeing. Worth waiting for. Worth fighting for. You gave me space to become the person I forgot I could be. I do not know what I did to deserve 35 years of your patience. But I promise to spend the rest of my life earning it. To show up for you the way you have always shown up for me. To love you. Fiercely. Completely. Without reservation. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for being my second chance. The minister pronounced them married. Graham kissed her like she was the only woman in the world. And Vivian, 53 years old, divorced, once invisible, felt more seen than she had ever felt in her life. 2 years later, Vivian stood in a small gallery in the city. Her paintings hung on every wall. Landscapes mostly. The lake in every season. But also portraits. Frances laughing. Nadine as a child. Graham's hands. Her mother's garden from memory. The show was called Becoming Visible. An art critic had written about it in the local paper. Called her work quietly devastating. Said it felt like permission. Like someone telling you it was okay to be seen after years of hiding. People moved through the gallery. Strangers studying canvases she had created in the room Graham had given her. Finding something in her work that resonated. A woman approached. About Vivian's age. Gray hair she had not bothered to dye. Kind eyes that looked tired. Your paintings, the woman said. They feel like my life. Like someone finally saw what I have been carrying. Thank you. Vivian said. That is the greatest compliment you could give me. I was invisible for 40 years. The woman continued. My husband. My children. Everyone looked right through me. And then I saw your work. And I thought, someone understands. Vivian took the woman's hand. You are not invisible, she said. Not to me. Not anymore. The woman's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. Squeezed Vivian's hand. Moved on to the next painting. Graham appeared at Vivian's elbow. Another one. Another one what? Another person you made feel seen. Vivian looked around the gallery. At the strangers studying her work. At Francis arguing with a caterer about the wine. At Nadine taking photos with her phone. At Chester the three-legged dog sleeping under a bench because Graham had insisted on bringing him. Is this real? She asked. Is what real? All of this. The gallery. The paintings. Us. Sometimes I wake up and I still cannot believe this is my life. It is real. He wrapped an arm around her waist. All of it. And you deserve every bit of it. She leaned into him. I was 52 years old at that reunion. Invisible. Ready to disappear. If you had not walked through that door, I would have found another way. He kissed her temple. I told you. However long it takes. Vivian looked at her paintings. At the life she had built. At the woman she had become. 53 years old when she had finally started over. 55 now and more alive than she had ever been. Not because a billionaire had chosen her, but because she had finally chosen herself. That was the lesson. The one that had taken 5 decades to learn. Your worth was never about who chose you. It was always about whether you could choose yourself. Believe in yourself. Take up space in your own life. Graham had given her the mirror, but Vivian had done the seeing. Later that night they sat on the deck of the lake house, wine in hand. Stars overhead. Chester snoring at their feet. The same view they had looked at together 100 times. The same peace that came from being exactly where you belonged. Happy? Graham asked. Completely. Any regrets? Vivian thought about it. Only that it took so long. Only that I wasted so many years being invisible when I could have been. Yes. You were not wasting those years. You were becoming the person you needed to be. Learning the lessons that brought you here. That is very philosophical for a shipping tycoon. He laughed. I have hidden depths. She smiled. Leaned her head on his shoulder. Thank you. For what? For waiting. For seeing me. For never giving up. For giving me a second chance when I did not believe I deserved one. Thank you, he said. For finally letting me love you. They sat in comfortable silence. The lake still below them. The stars wheeling overhead. 2 people who had found each other after 35 years apart. Who had built something neither of them could have imagined. Vivian thought about the woman she had been at that reunion. Standing at the bar with her $20 bill extended. Invisible. Overlooked. Ready to disappear. She thought about her mother hiding Graham's letter. About Donald replacing her with someone younger. About Constance calling her a reclamation project. About all the voices that had told her she was not enough. And she thought about now. About paintings in a gallery. About a ring on her finger. About a man who had loved her for 35 years and never stopped. She had been 52 and ignored at her reunion. And then the billionaire CEO she had rejected had returned. But that was not the story. Not really. The story was this. A woman had learned to see herself. Had learned to take up space. Had learned that she was worth loving. Not because someone else told her so, but because she finally believed it. Graham had given her the chance. But Vivian had done the becoming. And that made all the difference. Chester stirred at their feet. Yawned. Settled back down. We should go to bed. Graham said. In a minute. She was not ready to let go of this moment. This peace. This life she had almost been too scared to claim. The lake shimmered in the moonlight. The stars burned overhead. And Vivian Aldrich, 55 years old, artist, wife, visible, finally knew who she was. And she was enough. She had always been enough. She just had not known it yet. If this story moved you, if it made you think about your own life and the spaces you have been afraid to claim, take a moment to subscribe. Leave a comment. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because here is the truth. You are not invisible. You are not too old. You are not too broken. You are not too anything. You are enough. Exactly as you are. And it is never too late to become visible. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time. This has been Tales of Desire with Mr. Walker.